Alright, call me a banana the way I'm appealing. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescage today. And only today, we are approaching the launch of Shadow Generations. That's right, we are about a month away from the release. So I figured we would sit down today and rank every level in Sonic Generations. Now, the way I'm going to do this is instead of just doing the entire level itself, I'm going to rank the Act 1 and 2s differently. Because I think if you combine them, a lot of levels might be, you know, harping down by the other. And I feel like the levels are different enough that they can be ranked accordingly and differently. So without further ado, let's lock the fuck in. Let us start with Green Hill Zone Act 1. That is right, this is the classic level of Green Hill. For this one, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I'm gonna go B rank, right? The reason for it being that when it comes to, you know, Green Hill, that is classic Sonic's level. We've all seen it before. It is nice to see it, you know, shiny and 3D and everything, but it's a level that's not too crazy. You know, it goes through the motions. You get some fun loop-de-loops, some fun camera angles. There's some alternate different pathways you can take. There's a cool underground area, but it's fun. It's nothing special. It's Green Hill, right? And I think the reason why it's B is because it makes Act 2 look phenomenal. And I was thinking about Act 2, right? When it comes to Act 2 of Green Hill Zone, I'm gonna put this in S rank. I think the Green Hill Zone in Sonic Generations is one of the best 3D Sonic levels, not only because we have seen it for like everything ever. Like, think about how many mod showcases you always see this level. Think about how many times on Twitter. I feel like it is such a perfect intro level. And I think what's cool about it too is it actually is one of the few 3D levels where I think having 2D sections makes sense, you know, because it's trying to emulate classic Sonic. But even the 2D sections feel fast paced, you know, because they put grind rails in them. There's ways to get through them quickly. I feel like it's such an incredible, you know, celebration right off the bat. And it's one of the levels that everybody just knows almost by heart from how much we've seen it, mixing in grind rails, mixing in, you know, boost rings, mixing in, you know, a giant crab chasing you at the end. That's reminiscent of the crab enemies from the original, right? That giant loop you do up into the sky while you do all the tricks. It's just, it is such an incredible level, and it's a level that I feel like you just play forever. And it's, I know it's Green Hill Zone, but really it is a perfect rendition of Green Hill Zone. And also, if you're enjoying the content in general, please subscribe to your boy. I want to hit that nice 100K, and you guys have been going crazy on the videos. And if you have any ideas for me, stuff you want me to see me do, let me know, okay? Let's go with Chemical Plant. Now, obviously, Chemical Plant in Sonic 2, one of my favorite levels. And when I think of Green Hill, Chemical Plant Act 1 for Classic Gens, I think it's in B. It's not a bad level, but it's like the most standard thing. It's like, yeah, this is, you know, classic Sonic going through Chemical Plant. I think that's going to be only the sentiment for a lot of the early levels. Obviously, when it comes to Green Hill, Chemical Plant, if you fall into the purple water, it becomes a slog. You know, they obviously recreate that iconic part where, you have the slowing platforms that you're trying to get out of. So it can be a little frustrating, but there's some cool alt pathways. There's some cool platforming segments, but it doesn't do anything really crazy with the formula. Whereas I feel like later on, they have to get creative with classic Sonic because they're putting him in parts in. But for early on, not too much. But I would say Chemical Plant for modern Sonic, A rank. That level is fucking awesome, right? You guys know it. The music remix is incredible in it. Right off the bat, in the beginning, you have like the crazy alt pathways recreated from the original Sonic 2, where it has the multi-paths, but it's like it's in 3D, so you can literally take multiple paths right in the beginning, and you can just go in completely different pathways. To the left, you can go take an alt pathway to a different way. There's the regular way where you just drift in the middle. There's a pathway where in the middle of a grind rail, you can jump, grab a hook to get to a different area. There's a crazy water slide. Like, it is such a thrill ride to do the level in here. Again, it does still suffer from some Chemical Plant isms where obviously, you know, it's a skill check. If you're not that skilled, you end up going down the purple lava, and some of the 2D sections are a little more, you know, annoying, not as fast-paced, but still, I mean, it is such a fun level through and through. All right, now Sky Sanctuary. This, honestly, for classic Sonic, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's another B rank, but I would put it at the top of B rank. I think of all the levels, you know, obviously the original Sky Sanctuary is such a good level, and I think they do a good job of representing it with classic Sonic, you know, the little vines you can grab. Not just that, but they recreate you walking on those like spinning platforms that you can control left and right, where like it shatters the more you use it, which, to be fair, depending on who you ask, some people like it, some people don't. I had to learn to understand that mechanic and really like it, but throughout it, again, it's cool. You have a little mountain spiral at the end where you're running all the way up. I think it's a really good version of Sky Sanctuary. Like I said, it's top of B. It doesn't do anything crazy because, again, it is mainly a recreation of the level fitting for classic Sonic. But hey, it's Sky Sanctuary, so you can't really complain. Now, Sky Sanctuary Act 2, though, I'm gonna go with... I really think for me, this is top of A, right? I wouldn't put it quite in S, right? Because again, it still plays it a little safe with some of the 2D sections, and it doesn't really have a crazy set piece moment. But man, Sky Sanctuary for Modern Sonic is such a thrill ride. It's so fun. You know, you got a great remix. You have these moments where you're bouncing on these clouds, right? You have alternate pathways all throughout. There's this crazy moment where you're going downwards, right? And you're like running on this glass road, which is really sick. There's a nice inward area where you can take a top path or a bottom path. It does, you know, recreate the falling platform moment where you're boosting through it. I just feel like it is such a fun, exciting level. It doesn't really have a set piece moment in the same way some of the later levels do, but I can't lie to you and say when I play Modern Sky Sanctuary that I'm not like on my toes. And it's honestly a fun S-Ray because it is definitely a bit of a challenging level because there's more platforming segments in it, but man, it is a fun level. Now we do have to rank our first rival fight from the first part of Sonic Generations, and I think the first rival fight against Metal Sonic, I would also put it in the B rank. Would I put it above some of these levels? I'd probably put it like above Sky Sanctuary, you know, above Green Hill, under Sky Sanctuary. I like the Metal Sonic fight. It's cool, it's cute, it's reminiscing of the original. It is a little too easy in a sense of like, okay, Metal Sonic just kind of spins forwards and you hit him, but I love the little unique intro it has. I love the remix of his theme, like do 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 do, which is really dope. But yeah, pretty standard fight. It's kind of cool how he has those electric moves in there. So I like the rival fight. Again, it's nothing too exciting because it's pretty standard, but I do like at the end when he goes for that nice kick on him, which is kind of clean. We also have the boss fight of the end of this, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the boss fight here is a C for me. I'm not a big fan of the recreation of the final boss of Sonic 2 here, because for me it's just kind of slow pace. Like, you started the fight, the part where they recreated the fight where, yeah, you go behind him, you hit him in the butt, but it's a little too easy, it's a little too short. And then you go into the second part where like Eggman's sort of in the middle hitting these bombs, and you have to sort of stand next to the bomb so he hits it so that you go attack him. I don't know, like, it's not bad, which is why I wouldn't put it in the dick rank, but it's like, it's one that's not really exciting. It's a little slow paced. It doesn't really have that anxiety driven like fear that the original fight gives you, and I would have liked a more exciting sort of revamp to the fight, but it is what it is. All right, the second era. So I'm not gonna lie to you, Speed Highway Act 1, which is the classic, I'm gonna put it top of B. I'm gonna put it top of B. I really love Speed Highway because, again, this is when they gotta get creative for classic Sonic. I love that you're sort of going through some garages sometimes. You're going using these lifts. There's a lot of platforming segments, which makes a lot of sense. I like that you get chased by these little cops in the levels. I like how you go indoors in some of the buildings. Like, it does a really good job of going through sort of a cute little classic version of the highway. Again, it doesn't do anything too crazy, but it's cute, it's fun, it's a nice recreation of it. It's not, like I said, it doesn't get into the too crazy territory. Now, Speed Highway Act 2, top of S rank. I think this level is an incredible recreation of the original Speed Highway from Sonic Adventure. It is so fucking good. You ever think of a level that reminds you of how you saw it as a kid but enhances it? I feel like that's what Speed Highway does. It has the exact intro, but right off the bat, you know, you can jump onto a grind rail on the top, you can grab onto a helicopter. They create, you know, the crazy highway path like super well. You know, there's some great platforming segments, and then it goes into that sick moment, you know, where you're running down the building, and the way it redoes the cool camera shot, how you're being chased down, how you're doing, you know, L1 and R1 for the quick steps down. It is so much fun. It's a level I love going back to, love trying to S rank in there. You know, you got moments with the open platforming, you get some cool enemies you can hit in the edges. It's so good. I love, absolutely love Speed Highway Act 2. I think you can all agree with that. It's one of the best recreations, and just such a good thrill ride, man. It rewards you for genuinely being able to drift through the areas correctly, take different paths and everything. I love it. Oh man, City Escape. I'm not gonna lie to you, classic Sonic City Escape is an A rank for me, because I think this is where they start to add some unique flair to classic Sonic's levels, right? I think this one's really good because you end up being in the scenario where, yeah, it's classic Chemical Plant. You have a great remix by Cash Cash, which I think is better than the remix of actually Act 2, which is really dope. But I like the gimmick with classic Sonic here is that you can get a little skateboard and you can do tricks with the skateboard, and the truck from Act, from the original level is actually like fucking up the platforms next to you. Like I said, this is where I really feel like classic Sonic can shine a bit more, where I just love the gimmick here. I love how they really make something creative out of a classic Sonic version of this level, and it's cute, it's cool. I can't stress enough, look at that skateboard, look at it. It's not a crazy level for multi-pathing. There's definitely some alt routes you could take for higher paths and lower paths, but for the most part, just incredibly fun. And again, that remix goes stupid. Act 2 of City Escape, arguably top tier, man. What an incredible recreation of City Escape. I feel like that recreation is almost better than the original, which I actually had that debate recently. You can go watch my video of 3D Sonic levels all bracket fought against each other. But yeah, I think City Escape's recreation here is phenomenal, man. I think they did a good job recreating the speed feeling of going down the hill. You can do the tricks in the air, which is so fucking sick, to the point where if you do the tricks properly, you can grind around like the wires on top. They recreate some of those old platforming segments, and obviously the big one being the truck chase. They do the truck chase incredible justice by not only bringing back the truck, but he has saws now that he's chasing you. And then not just that, towards the end of the level, he is boosting onto a wall rocket style as you are running out. I love Act 2 of City Escape so much. I feel like they genuinely cooked with it, and you can tell that's a level the dev team knew they had to nail no matter what. It does have one 2D section in it where I'm not saying it's bad, but I feel like the level should have just been completely 3D, but still, for the most part, I think they cooked. Fantastic recreation, and oh my god, I love it. The only flaw with it is they don't give you more grind rails to go on, but that's it. Besides that, I love it. Now we have Seaside Hill, right? So for Seaside Hill for classic Sonic, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really like this level. A lot of times you're underwater, you're just kind of doing some basic platforming segments. The only cool thing about the level is towards the end, it recreates the sort of rolling thing that chases you at the end of Seaside Hill from Sonic here. So I'm not really a fan of that one, but it's okay. You know why? Because Sky Sanctuary, or not, sorry, Seaside Hill Act 2 with modern Sonic, I would argue second best level in the game. This level is known for just how many alternate paths it has. Dude, you can take paths from the top left, you can take paths that go on top of loop-de-loops, you can take multiple branching paths in the segments where you can end up being in a go-kart, you can end up being on long platforming segments. It's like this level, I don't know what it is. It's almost like they tried to recreate the feeling of having the 3 abilities in Sonic Heroes, where you could go to areas because you had power using, or you could go to different areas because you had tails. I feel like they tried to create that feeling of multiple branching paths in Seaside Hill and made a level that celebrates not only Act 1 of Seaside Hill, but even Ocean Palace, I think, which is the second act. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's one of the best 3D levels in general for Sonic. It's such a good celebration of it. It's such a good recreation of it. The big segment at the end where all the wheels are turning, you're boosting through, you get pushed up by a dolphin. Like I said, there is some 2D platforming here, but for the most part, god, the 3D platforming is sick. You can even run on water at certain points. I love it. Like I said, so much alternate pathing to the point where to this day, I'll replay that level and find a path I never took. And of course, the rival fight for the second part of Sonic Heroes is versus Shadow. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think it's quite S, but it's A. They recreate the, the fly past each other moment. I think the gimmick for a long time when I was growing up confused me. Like, you gotta gather these like purple orbs in order to be able to boost into them. But the older I got, the more I realized it's pretty easy. Just hit the meteor, you get a big boost, and then you're able to hit Shadow. It's not a fight I guess they were able to recreate the way they wanted to, just because in the original you had kind of a rival fight where you're fighting each other, but they did a good job. The remix is really good. It's always fun to encounter Shadow. So like I said, probably bottom of A. I still like the base levels a little better, but it's still fun. I mean, it's your versus Shadow. It's lit. I love it. And the big boss of the end of the second half is versus Cast, which I'm not gonna lie to you, right? The fact that you don't go supersonic during the fight, which obviously again makes sense that you're not going to, kind of hurts it, because a big part of the original, was being supersonic. You're surfing through. There's some cool platforming segments during this level, but it's not as speed based as I would have liked it to be. You know, there's the first part where it's a little speed base, you're boosting into him, but again, like, I feel like the problem with this fight is I do find it to be a downgrade from the original, because of obviously, you know, it's not the supersonic fight, but it's not a bad recreation, because like I said, I love the moment even towards the end where he's levitating all the platforms, then you have to go hit his head. There's some really cool shit it does, right? But I would put it above at the very least the Metal Sonic fight, because I think it's more exciting. I'd even put it above the Sky Sanctuary act for Classic Sonic. I think that's a good place for it. All right, now we've entered the third act of Sonic Generations. Ooh, Crisis City Act 1. I really like this level for Classic Sonic. I think I wouldn't put it quite A rank. Would I? Maybe. Because the whole thing about Crisis City for Classic Sonic is you're mainly just going through Crisis City. You're going through a lot of the buildings. Now, the big hook of this level is the second half of it. What I really love is you think you're getting to the end of the level, but the level sort of breaks and you're going through this giant platforming segment. The tornado is carrying cars that you're quite literally jumping over. So I think it does do a pretty good mix of the level itself. Again, it doesn't do anything too crazy and exciting, but I think it's a very fun variation of Crisis City. I think they did the best they could with Classic Sonic. Now, for Modern Sonic, I would also say A rank, probably under the City Escape for Classic, but I really do like the Crisis City they did for Modern Sonic, where like you are going through that level. It's much more platforming based, but one thing I can't stand about the level is this they make you learn the stomping ability, and just kind of whatever, you're just stomping through lava. I wish they had incorporated the skateboarding segment from the original level, and you know, but this level does incorporate a bit of the Mach speed in some way and fashion. I just like the vibe they go with it, and like I said, I like some of the platform intensive stuff. They do recreate, you know, you running through the destroyed buildings and stuff. So there's some really cool shit in this level. I do like going back and playing it and learning sort of how to do it in the best way possible. But again, it doesn't necessarily feel like, I feel like it cuts back on some things from the original that would have been really fucking cool. But for the most part, I enjoy this level. Oh, now we got Rooftop. I don't know why it's called Orange Roofs. I guess they gave up on the naming here. But listen, let me tell you how this goes, right? Rooftop Run for Classic Sonic, absolutely top of it. I think they do a really good job of making a cute recreation of the level. It never obviously reaches the highs of the modern Sonic version, but it's super cute. You're jumping through the buildings. You go inside buildings and like these taverns where these barrels are sort of following you around. You do a fun tower climb towards the end, even to the point where you're messing with the clock at the end to jump into it. I think it's a really fun rendition. I think there's no such thing as a bad rooftop run. I think they cooked with Classic Sonic, absolutely, man. But Act 2 of this, I'll put it behind City Escape. I still think City Escapes is so fucking sick, but Rooftop Run, man, is such an immaculate. You know what, for me personally, I think Rooftop Run's the best level in the game. I think it feels, there is something about Rooftop Run that feels like a celebration of the series. And yeah, it's not that distinctly different from the Unleashed version, because, you know, it's also a boost game, but I just think the level itself is so fun. You know, you have the blimps when you're going down the grind rail section. You have so many moments, you know, the quick dashes between the big robots in the middle, the part where you're quite literally running on rooftops, which is sick. Like the music, it's incredible. I've always loved Rooftop Run. A lot of you have, and it's like, to me, it's absolutely the best 3D level in the game by far. Now, this person hadn't even put Planet Wisp. I had to add it in. I guess they were like, fuck that. For me, Planet Wisp, let me tell you, Classic Sonic using Spike and, you know, some of the gimmicks, I think works. I think I would put at the top of B, because if anything, it, you know, highlights a lot of Sonic colors, which is it being, you know, a boost game, which is it being like, you know, a lot of a 2D game within a 3D game. So I think for Classic Sonic, it fits the vibe really well. It uses some of the wisps, which is really fun. There's some puzzles that don't necessarily hit the best, but it's cute. It's fun. But I would say, I'm not gonna lie to you, modern version of the level, I would put C, just because it's disappointing, man. I mean, Planet Wisp is one of the most beautiful, beloved levels in general when it comes to Sonic, but man, like they go way too far in on the 2D sections. There's moments that are just kind of frustrating in the level, like when you're jumping on these little carts. Rocket just isn't really that fun to use. I wish they had used this opportunity to make Planet Wisp feel like a fully fleshed out level, because the first half is beautiful when you're actually running through like the forest, like the open area of Planet Wisp. I love that so much. But then second half just entirely 2D and just gets hella bogged down. You don't even get a single 3D segment really in that part. So very disappointing level for me. And now we have the rival fight, which I'm not gonna lie to you, upon replays, I think the silver rival fight is my favorite one. I would put it in probably top of A rank. I really fucking love how they do this. He's using his telekinesis abilities, you know, to toss things at you. You're dodging them. There's moments where you have to run above them. You know, if you hit them, you can get meter, right? You can get on top and hit him. You can boost into him. There's the part behind you where he's building a spirit bomb of shit to toss at you. Like, I feel like they do a really fucking good job of recreating a rival fight against Silver, especially, you know, considering what the original rival fight was. It's no use. I think they did a pretty good job with this remix reversion. Egg Dragoon. Now, I know for me, a bit of a skill issue I have with this one because I'm kind of ass at it, but I would say the Egg Dragoon fight, it can be a little tedious, right? It's a little bit, you know, you're spamming boost and you're just kind of running after Eggman, then you get into a 2D section where you hit him. I don't know, man. I would put it maybe like in B, right? It's a fight that, again, it's cool that they recreate the Egg Dragoon, but it's not my favorite implementation of it. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way you're just kind of chasing Eggman like constantly through the level that's kind of annoying, which, you know, it follows the spirit of the Egg Dragoon, or sort of those fights in Unleashed where you're just kind of chasing a giant egg, but it's not my favorite thing in there. And of course, Time Eater, our one exclusive dick rank. You already know the Time Eater is notoriously bad. I hope they fix it in Generations, obviously, as we're gonna get the game redone soon. I hope they fix this fight, man, because I think it's boring. I think the outcome of it is boring. I think, you know, it's not even intuitive. It's not even fun. It's not even clear. You're just spamming boosts, praying for the best. You go between 2D and 3D. It's not even fun. It's awful. You guys already know. But I think for the most part, this is a pretty solid tier list. Obviously, in the comment section below, let me know what ends up being your favorite levels in the game. And of course, guys, I love you. Thank you all for watching. You're the best. And of course, I will see you all next time. Peace out.